Okay, so welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive.
Always a pleasure.
Today, we're going to be taking a look at some pretty significant news
Yeah.
coming out of the basketball world, specifically for our Filipino basketball fans.
Right.
We're going to be talking about Kai Sotto and the recent injury to his knee
Big news.
while he's been playing for the Koshigaya Alphas over in Japan in the B League.
Yep.
I know a lot of you are big fans of international basketball
Of course, yeah.
and have been following Soto's career very closely.
For sure.
And this is big.
It is big, yeah.
We've got a news snippet here that gives us some of the basic facts, but leaves a lot more questions that we want to kind of dig into.
Absolutely.
Especially what this means for his future in the NBA.
Yeah.
And of course, for his Filipinas.
Right.
With the FIBA World Cup coming up.
Big tournament coming up.
So let's dive in.
Yeah, let's get into it.
So first, can you just, for our listeners who maybe aren't as familiar with the story, can you kind of set the stage for us? Like, who is Kai Sotto? What's he been up to? And why is this such a crucial moment in his career?
Yeah, so Kai Sotto, he's this incredibly talented young Filipino basketball player.
Yeah.
He's, I think, 7'3".
Yeah, he's huge.
Yeah, a true 7-footer.
Yeah.
And, he's got his sights set on the NBA. That's the dream.
Corey.
He's been playing professionally for a couple of years now, trying to kind of hone his skills and really get to that level.
Yeah.
And the B League over in Japan, it's a really good league.
It's a strong league. Yeah.
It's a strong league. Very competitive. A lot of former NBA players actually go over there to play, so it's a good proving ground for someone like Sotto.
Right. So he's over there. He's trying to make a name for himself against some really tough competition, and that's where this injury happens.
That's exactly right.
So let's talk about that. What do we know about the injury itself?
Well, he was playing against the Seahorses Mikawa the other day. Landed awkwardly after a play.
Oh, no.
And immediately went down clutching his left knee.
Ugh, that's never good.
It's never a good sign.
Never a good sign.
We don't have the official diagnosis yet. We're waiting on MRI results.
Right.
So that's kind of the big question mark hanging over everything right now.
And everyone's kind of holding their breath, waiting to see what those MRI results say.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, until we know the extent of the injury, it's really difficult to speculate on what it means for his future.
Right. And that's what makes this so compelling for all of us watching. Is like, what are the what ifs here?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what's the best case scenario and what's the worst case scenario?
Best case scenario, it's a minor sprain.
Right.
Maybe he misses a few weeks, gets some rest and rehab, and he's right back out there.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, exactly. That's what everyone's hoping for.
Right.
Worst case scenario, it could be something that requires surgery.
Yeah.
Potentially puts him out for the rest of the season.
Right.
And that's a huge setback, not just for his NBA aspirations, but also for Gilas Pilipinas.
Right. Yeah, let's talk about that impact because,
Yeah.
you mentioned the NBA dream. But for Filipino basketball fans, Gilas Pilipinas is everything.
Yeah. You can't overstate how important that national team is.
Right.
It's a source of pride for the entire country.
Yeah.
And Sotto is a key piece of that puzzle. He represents the future of Filipino basketball.
Yeah. And with the FIBA World Cup coming up, I mean, the timing of this couldn't be worse.
Yeah, it's a nightmare scenario for Gilas.
Right.
They've got this huge tournament on the horizon.
Right.
A chance to compete against the best in the world.
Right.
And now they're facing this uncertainty over whether their star player will even be available.
Yeah. I mean, can you even imagine being in Coach Tim Cohn's shoes right now?
Must be so much pressure.
Right. How do you even begin to prepare for something like that?
Well, he's saying all the right things.
Okay.
Expressing hope for Sotto's recovery.
Yeah.
But also acknowledging that they need to be ready to compete without him if necessary.
Wow. Yeah, that's a lot to process.
And you can't forget the impact on team morale.
Yeah.
Sotto's not just a talented player, he's a leader. He's a symbol of hope.
Right.
And his absence would be felt both on and off the court.
Absolutely. So as we wait for those MRI results, I mean, it's hard not to think about like the bigger picture here.
Yeah.
Even if he makes a full recovery, could this injury affect his confidence?
It's definitely possible.
Right.
Anytime you have a serious injury, it can mess with your head a little bit.
Right.
Make you hesitant, second guess yourself.
Yeah.
And that can affect your performance.
Absolutely. So we've got Sotto injured,
Right.
severity unknown,
Yep.
MRI results pending,
That's the big one.
Coach Cohn trying to navigate all of this.
Doing his best.
It's a lot to unpack.
It is.
And we'll definitely be keeping a close eye on this story as it develops. For sure. But in the meantime, maybe just something for our listeners to think about as they wait for news.
Sure.
Um, how do you think this experience, this setback, might impact Soto's development as a player in the long run?
It's a really good question.
Even if he comes back stronger than ever,
Yeah.
could this force him to maybe become a more well-rounded player?
Right.
Focus on different aspects of his game.
Yeah, maybe develop some new skills that he wouldn't have otherwise.
Exactly. And could this open up opportunities for other JLS players
Right.
to step up and kind of fill that void,
That's a really interesting point.
while he's out?
Yeah, I mean, it could be a chance for someone else to really shine.
Yeah.
And make a case for themselves.
Yeah.
To be a part of that core group moving forward.
So it's a situation that's obviously full of challenges, but also potentially some really interesting possibilities.
I think that's a great way to put it.
So we'll have to wait and see how this all unfolds. But thanks for breaking it all down for us.
Anytime.
And to our listeners out there.
Yeah.
Stay tuned. We'll keep you updated as soon as we know more.
We'll be back with more soon.
All right, sounds good.
Take care.